Once upon a time, in a small village nestled along the shimmering shores of a vast ocean, lived a fisherman named Chris. The people knew Chris for his exceptional fishing abilities. He was able to capture an abundance of fish, thanks to his amazing ability, which allowed him to sell some of the extra fish at the nearby market, in addition to meeting his modest needs. Chris was talented, but he wasn't satisfied with his modest way of life. He was blind to the gifts he already had, and his judgment was clouded by greed, which had taken control of his heart. He desired a life of excess and splendor, and he ached for more wealth. He aspired continually for greater and more valuable catches, instead of being content with the abundance of fish the sea gave him. One day, as Chris was casting his nets into the deep blue waters, a shimmering figure emerged from beneath the waves. It was a magical fish, radiant with hues of gold and silver, its scales sparkling like precious gemstones. The fish spoke with a voice that seemed to echo from the depths of the ocean itself.
Chris, I am a guardian of the sea, and I have witnessed the greed that consumes your heart.
The fish said.
But I can grant you a wish, a chance to change your fate. If you choose wisely, your life can be filled with happiness and contentment. However, if you allow your greed to dictate your desire, there will be dire consequences.
Chris's eyes widened with excitement. The opportunity to fulfill his desires seemed too tempting to resist. Ignoring the fish's warning, he replied,
Magical fish. I wish for an endless supply of gold and treasures. I want wealth beyond measure, so I may live a life of luxury.
The magical fish nodded sadly, knowing the fate that Chris had chosen for himself. In an instant, the ocean waters around them began to churn, and a tidal wave of gold and jewels crashed upon the shore. Chris's eyes gleamed with delight as he began to gather the wealth, completely unaware of the warning signs that had accompanied his wish. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, as Chris reveled in his newfound wealth. He built a grand mansion, adorned with extravagant furnishings, and surrounded himself with servants attending to his every whim. However, his wealth did not bring him the happiness he had envisioned. Chris became consumed by the fear of losing his treasures. He couldn't sleep peacefully, constantly worried about thieves or misfortune befalling his possessions. He began to isolate himself, shutting out the people of the village who had once been his friends and neighbors. The villagers, who had always appreciated Chris's fishing skills, now viewed him as a greedy and selfish man. As time went on, the magical fish reappeared before Chris, who was now a shell of his original self. The once vibrant fisherman had become gaunt and lonely, his heart heavy with regret.
Chris, your greed has led you astray. The wealth you desired has become your prison.
The magical fish spoke, its voice tinged with sadness.
But it is not too late. I can grant you another wish, a chance to change your path.
Chris, his voice trembling, pleaded with the fish. Please, magical fish, take away this burden of wealth. Restore my simple life as a fisherman, and let me find happiness once again. The magical fish nodded, and with a flick of its tail, the ocean swallowed the gold and treasures that had consumed Chris's life. The mansion crumbled, leaving behind only the memories of a life filled with empty opulence. With a newfound humility, Chris returned to the village and resumed his life as a fisherman. He shared his catch with the villagers, remembering the joy that came from giving and being part of a community. The people, initially skeptical of his change of heart, gradually began to forgive and embrace him once again. Chris spent his days fishing with renewed passion, but this time, his motives were different. Instead, he relished the simplicity and beauty of the ocean, appreciating the abundant gifts it offered. As the years passed, Chris became known not only for his fishing skills but also for his generosity and compassion. He donated a portion of his catch to those in need, ensuring that no one in the village went hungry. His acts of kindness inspired others, and soon a culture of sharing and caring spread throughout the community. The magical fish, pleased with Chris's transformation, occasionally appeared to him in dreams, offering guidance and wisdom.